I'm Carlos from Top City Records. Today I'm excited to have an incredible artist from right here in Topeka, Kansas. Mr. Joey Crofoot is in the studio. I first heard him play a show at Two Wolves Studio and Artist Den in downtown Topeka, back when it was next to the Celtic Fox. I instantly fell in love with Joe's unique and powerful songwriting, and before long, got to work with him in the studio recording a couple songs for the Top City Records compilation of Topeka singer-songwriters, This Machine Builds Community. Today, we're going to be talking about his first single, Great Big Star, off the forthcoming album, Beautiful Broken Souls. What's up, Joe?
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here.
All right. So Joe, you've got an album coming out this year, right? Before the end of the year, is that the plan?
Yep, December 12th is the anticipated release date. It's a concept album. I kind of conceived the idea and wrote the majority of the songs in the fall of 2022. So if you're proficient in math, you might have figured out that's 2 years ago. So it's a long time ago. In March of this year, I finally got in the studio and started working on it, and it started off at a glacial pace.
Yeah.
I put in like maybe 4 hours of studio time in that first month, and then I just kind of have gradually ramped it up, and I'm really proud of what we made. And yeah, it'll be out in December. We'll be releasing some singles leading up to that release.
Fantastic. You got one that just came out, Great Big Star, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Great Big Star. It's out in the world. You can find it on all the streaming platforms, at least all the ones I'm aware of.
Is it on MySpace? Because that's where I get all my my good music these days.
That's. Oh yeah, it's tragically I don't think it's on MySpace because I know that's a widely used platform still. No, but you can find it. Just search Joey Crofoot, Great Big Star. You'll find it. I hope you give it a listen. I hope you like it. I think it's.
Tell you what, I've been listening to it quite a bit this past week. I've had the tab up on my browser while I'm working, and so then like once in a while I'll get back around to that tab and I'll be like, oh, click play, be jamming to it, replay, jam some more, and so it's just kind of been stuck in my head off and on for the past few days. It's killer, man. What do you think about working on the album in the studios? Like, you've been playing music for years, writing songs, playing local shows with your acoustic and singing, with the piano and singing. What was the studio experience like?
I think Tom Waits has a quote about how recording music is kind of, it's putting a song through machinery. Mm-hmm. And it's very true. But the challenge is, or I think, is to record and to put it through that machinery, but to keep it feeling human and organic. Mm-hmm. But I mean, recording music, I've known for a long time, or ever since I've tried ever since I made any attempt at doing it in any fashion. Mm-hmm. It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's difficult. It's tedious. You'll constantly be second guessing things and trying to get it perfect.
Yeah. I hear people with that quote sometimes, where if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I just have never really been able to jump on board with that thought because I love working on music, but it's labor. Like the part I love the most is so short, writing the song, mm-hmm. and then doing the studio work, putting in the practice time, mm-hmm. like the logistics of shows and
mm-hmm.
Learning equipment and learning software, and like there's a lot of work that goes into doing something you love.
It's a lot of work, especially going back to the question. Is I wanted to give these tunes, even though I've been primarily a solo performer. Mm-hmm. I think these songs, all of them I wrote to be solo arrangements. Mm-hmm. I still think they work plenty well in that fashion. But I wanted to, for the studio versions, I wanted to give them, for the most part, full band feels.
Yeah.
And it was really fun because I got to, arrange these songs and compose parts and stuff and play. It was fun to like layer like a song like Great Big Star, for instance. This is a tune I'm accustomed to playing as with guitar and vocal.
Right.
So it was fun. I've never played it with piano, so it was fun to like put a keyboard part on it. It was really fun to like attract. With the exception of one song, I tracked all the bass guitar on the album, so it was fun to play bass because I don't ever like play bass when I perform.
Yeah. So you did the guitar, piano, and bass on the song and on the album. Worked with the drummer. Who was that?
Shane Evans is the drummer on this album. Mm-hmm. He drums on 9 of the 12 songs. He did a bang up job.
Cool.
He was the drummer in Collective Soul for their first 5 albums.
Okay, bet.
So yeah, he
knew what he was doing.
It was amazing to be able to wrangle him in on the project. I mean, he's a dude. I mean, he played Woodstock in '99. You know what I mean? Like he's a
professional.
He's a killer. Yeah, and he's super experienced and he's very knowledgeable at studio work and how to get the right sound.
Excellent.
And I think he felt the music too. I think it spoke to him.
Were there any other musicians that you had coming in for studio time?
Yeah. Aiden Sarmiento played cello on this album. Lauren Davis is on the bongos. Nick Guess is on violin, and Riley Voth on electric guitar.
Fantastic. I can't wait to hear all that.
Oh, and Mark Thies is bass guitar on one song.
Okay. Awesome. I can't wait to hear these arrangements. So I've seen you, plenty of times here in Topeka playing guitar, playing piano, and saw one show where you played with a drummer, which was a really fantastic, like widening of the arrangement. The drums really fit your music so well. You have such an interesting rhythmic approach to your songs, as we'll hear in this one for sure. So I'm really excited to hear where these arrangements go on these other songs. On Great Big Star, you've got the guitar, piano, bass, and drums and vocals, and that's it, right? Did I miss anything in that?
No, there's nothing that's like hidden in the mix that's real subtle. No, that's everything.
Okay. Well, here, why don't we give it a listen since we talking about it. Here we go.
When you came into the world, the force of you broke all. Unprepared to take the fall. When you came into your home, the source of you made you whole. Unprepared to stare into your soul. Keep it going, gonna hit your timing. Great big star, gotta keep on shining. When you came into the crowd, they treated you like a clown. Unprepared to tolerate the sound. When you came into your own, the force of you held you down. Gravity for you and everyone around. Keep it going, gonna hit your timing. Great big star, gotta keep on shining. Keep it going, gonna hit your timing. Great big star, gotta keep on shining. my life. You carry a blinding light on where you shine so very bright. When you come to know you're mine, the course of your life unwinds. What you haven't done doesn't matter all the time. Keep it going, gonna hit your timing. Great big star, gotta keep on shining. Keep it going, gonna hit your timing. Great big star, gotta keep on shining. Keep it going, gonna hit your timing. Great big star, gotta keep on, gotta keep on, gotta keep on, gotta keep on shining.
Oh man, that is a bop, dude. Love that song.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I like it too.
So I got to tell you, my first thought after I heard this arrangement of it, particularly towards the end, after the the big bridge and the final chorus, and then that like approach to the ending where you repeat yourself a little bit, kind of working up that big ending. I thought, damn, I could really see this on stage, like a Broadway stage. Like, it feels like a musical number to start off a show like Rent or something. Like, it has the like big ensemble vibe to me. Like, does that make sense to you?
It does, yeah. I mean, interestingly enough, there's a lot of this music on this album. I think people have commented on. There's kind of a musical theater vibe to it. I did. I guess I have a background in theater. I mean, I did like musicals in high school and stuff. I've done no theater since then.
You played music for a show here in the last couple of years, right?
That's right. Yeah, I was in the pit for the musical Tick Tick Boom at Washburn University.
That's so cool.
Played guitar. Yeah, that's a really good show. It was fun to be in the pit too, because
it sounds really demanding. Like
it was hard. I haven't really gone through like an academic route through music. It's everything I've done has just been. It's just followed my own songwriting interests, basically.
Right.
I don't read notes, even though I was technically required to for that show. I just kind of learned the parts by ear and stuff.
So you're mostly just kind of following chord symbols sort of thing?
Yeah, and just listening to the recordings and figuring the parts out that way. But it was kind of, a lot of the times, the official like cast recordings for musicals, there are differences between that and the actual like books that are used to produce production.
A little bit of room there to kind of finagle it.
There were differences, and but it was very fun. It was a challenge. I'd never really done anything like that. I don't know if I will again. I'd be open to it though.
Well, this song definitely has that vibe. Like it's really telling a story, and it feels like we've got an opening of a story now, and now I just want like 2 more hours, please.
Interesting. This,
maybe an intermission in there somewhere.
This comes kind of smack dab in the middle of the album.
Yeah.
Which,
so how does it fit into the album exactly? So the album is Beautiful Broken Souls.
That's right, yeah.
And my impression of Beautiful Broken Souls is that this is an album kind of talking about some of the like personal and difficult struggles kind of thing over the past years. Is that fair to say?
I think the album deals heavily with my own experiences with grief and depression, and as well as others' experiences with these things. But I think it's there's also a ton of hope in the songs too.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately what I wanted to say was just that something I've learned is it's just that all the beauty and all the joy we experience in our lives is informed by all the pain and all the suffering we experience, and vice versa. And in a way, you can't really separate the two things either. They're they're actually weirdly, it's a paradox. It doesn't make any sense, but they're actually kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I will say that joy and that beauty, it's richer for the suffering you've endured.
For sure, yeah. I can look back on my own experiences with grief and see how that, as difficult as those times were in my life, that it's led me to a point of appreciating more of what I have and opening up to the life experiences in a new and more open way, more personal and more connected way. I get that that concept of the two being entwined and kind of one and informing the other, sort of back and forth. You can't have grief without love, and you can't have love without grief. They end up going together no matter what.
And and it's like the deeper you love and the more you love, the more pain you're setting yourself up to experience.
Mm-hmm.
But and yet I believe we should love deeply regardless.
Yeah, we need it.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this song fit in? It's the one that you chose to be the first single, so this is everyone's first impression of the album. What were you going for there with how it fits and how you want people to kind of come into your music and this album from this song?
I decided this song made the most sense to be the first release. It's passionately supportive and positive.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of the whole process. Keep it going, gonna hit your timing. Like this album is a long time in the making.
Mm-hmm.
I also think like the mood that the music itself, aside from the lyrical content of the song, it to me it has a very kind of summery vibe to it. It's just really happy, really bright, warm. And the rest of the album, not as much. The majority of the album is more of a fall or winter mood, but this song made a lot of sense to release at the
sort
tail
of
end of summer. Yeah.
Okay.
The next song that'll be released, it's called "What If I'm in Love." It's
I like that one.
It's a very, very hopeful song also, but it's also kind of, there's a lot of doubt there too.
Sure.
It's kind of happy. It's kind of sad too. It's not as straightforward, I think, in terms of the emotion that's being communicated.
Yeah. Okay. I'm here for some emotional complexity. Give it to me, man. So this song seems to have kind of a little bit of a back and forth. I haven't like gone through kind of line by line and like assembled what this song means to me, all the way through kind of thing. But my impression from the lines that I catch here and there seems to be, some of it that is kind of, that's coming to you, when you came into my life, when you came into my world, blah, da, 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 da. And then there seems to also be kind of a pouring out, like the outward encouragement in terms of, gotta keep your timing, da, 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 does that make sense with where your brain was writing this song of like a sort of exchange of sorts? Or
lyrically, this one is interesting. Most of my songs, I think, are very specifically about something, one specific thing, an event or a person.
Mm-hmm.
This one's about
kind of a moment in time.
This one's about multiple people.
Interesting.
So the first lyric is, "When you came into the world, the force of you broke a wall, unprepared to take the fall." So that's describing childbirth. My niece had just been born at the time, so I think that kind of inspired those lines.
That's cool.
And after the first chorus, when we get into the next couple verses, those verses are more about like growing up. when you came into the world,
Mhm.
when you came into your own,
That's
so
really
it's just
cool.
kind of describing life. And then the final verse is more reflective, like when you came into my life. And that was about, those lines were inspired by someone else, a woman that I was infatuated with, and maybe
Mhm.
still am a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot bit. Who knows? These things don't really, in my experience, don't really go away, and they deepen, in fact. But when you came into my life, you carried a blinding light, unaware you shine so very bright. And then finally, when you come to know your mind. So that's the final reflection and the final lesson. The course of your life unwinds. What you haven't done doesn't matter all the time. That's the theme. That's the message
I
of the
love
song.
that. So there's kind of a kind of progressive thread of like of recognizing this person, whoever this person is, but like kind of recognizing their presence in the world, their effect in the world, their beauty, their who they are. And I like what you said there at the end about what's not done maybe doesn't matter. Kind of speaks to just
we have
a lot of the point
so
of
many
living is
so many
living.
people, myself included, have this preoccupation of achievement.
Yeah, got to do something great.
Right.
Yeah.
And ultimately that's not, it's not what life's about. Like, yes, we want to be working towards whatever it is we want.
Yes, it's great to work toward things.
Yeah, but we also have to be here. We have to enjoy our lives. Otherwise, what's the point of being alive if you're not going to enjoy ourselves?
For sure.
So
yeah, I love that.
And the chorus line, "Keep it going, gonna hit your timing." That was probably a message to myself as much as it was a message to anyone else.
Yeah. So did this song evolve over time then? It sounds like this was not a sit down and write it in a day kind of thing.
I think I probably wrote all the lyrics in one sitting, but there were ones that I think I tweaked, somewhat extensively.
Yeah.
It's rare that like your first draft is like gonna be like all you are satisfied with all the words you've written.
Sure.
In college, I took like some creative writing courses, and there was this concept of a vomitorium, which is kind of a gross word, but basically, it's,
There's some real imagery attached to it.
But it's like, you got like, you've just got to complete it, start to finish. Then you can go back and edit.
Yeah.
Come up, start working towards your final draft. But
my author friends call that wearing your writer's cap when you're writing and wearing your editor's cap when you're editing.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
don't mix those two.
Absolutely.
They don't mix well.
Occasionally, at least, I've had songs that I've written in one sitting and then didn't change a word. I think they came out exactly as good as they could be.
Yeah.
And that's always kind of special. It's like, how did that happen? What was I eat? What did I have for breakfast that day? As I've gotten towards kind of the tail end of this project, I've kind of found myself getting back in more of a writerly mode.
Good.
And it feels good, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the, like, I've been encouraging musicians and poets and novelists that I know to publish, because whether it's as good as you think it can be, or, whether the right deal comes along to get it done, for me, the biggest value in publishing is the clearing of space in your head to write more. Like, that makes all the sense in the world to me. Like, when I'm heavy in production mode, I also can't write anything. And it's like, when you have that backlog of stuff, it's hard to throw new things onto the pile. So, hitting publish and kind of getting a whole set of songs out really like clears the pipes for more stuff.
Excitingly enough, I'm about, let's say, 85% done writing my second album.
Hell yeah.
Which I'm doing some traveling this fall, but I'm anticipating getting back in the studio in November, and I'm gonna get that second album done.
Great, man.
Just keep it rolling, keep it going.
Maybe we could get a Joey Crofoot show where you play Beautiful Broken Souls through, and then play this upcoming album through as a little preview kind of thing.
Interesting show.
I'd love that.
That would be kind of fun. I'm up for it.
I can't wait to hear what the new stuff sounds like.
Yeah, the second album, it's I don't know. One of my I still admire him a lot, but I'd say I resonate with his music a little bit less now than I did when I was, say, younger, say 10 years ago. But I used to really, really love Nine Inch Nails.
Oh yes, yeah,
and I really, and he was obviously really big into like concept albums and stuff, and that's one of the reasons I liked it. I'm like, this all feels just so connected and thematic and rich, and so I mean, the second album is also a concept album. I would say it's a little bit less vulnerable in nature, and it's a little more fantastical. I'd say there's inevitably there's a great deal of vulnerability. But this, Souls is well, I'll tell you, Big Blue Sea is the name of the next album. And it was actually the first album I conceived. I conceived it probably 6 years ago.
Wow, man! So this has been brewing for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then fall of 2022, that's when I came up with this album concept, and I decided this would be a better introduction, just because the nature of this one was more vulnerable. So I felt like people could maybe get to know me a little better through this music, as opposed to that, which, as I say, is a little more fantastical in nature.
Cool, man. I'm looking forward to that. So, do you think the vulnerability of this album has been a growth experience to write these songs, perform them, and now record them and put them out?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Some of these songs, not all of the songs, like Great Big Star, I wouldn't describe as being especially confessional. But there are at least a handful of the tracks on this album that are highly confessional, and it's difficult to write that kind of stuff, and it's difficult to know whether it was written just to be some, just this like kind of therapy, or whether it actually has artistic merit. Some of these songs I thought were just therapy, and then I just decided, hey, this is like a really good song. And I think others could maybe, it's possible that others could maybe understand some of what they're going through a little bit better through this music.
Yeah, man.
At least that's my hope.
Yeah, and they're not going to experience it the same way that you did,
right.
But that emotion and that story and that like structure of the song gives them a way to connect their own thing to it,
right.
and understand it in their own way.
The main value of art, I believe, is that sometimes you'll be reading something, if it's really good and really well written, it feels like it's articulating things that you are thinking and feeling, but that you weren't able to articulate yourself.
Yeah.
And therefore it's helping you understand your own thoughts and your own feelings better.
Yeah. It's like it finds something that you knew already but didn't have access to. It just kind of brings it out to the surface.
I've become an avid journaler. And I really ardently recommend journaling to basically anyone I have a conversation with lasting more than like 10 minutes. I'm probably going to get on my journaling spiel, but I think like the reason that's so valuable is like once you like start writing down your thoughts, it's like, and articulating them, it's going to help you understand your own feelings better.
Yeah. Man, writing of all kind is just so good for that. That's been something that I've carried with me since high school. I've never been much of a journaler, but just any kind of writing that I've ever done has always been a good way to understand myself better, and to kind of, when something's kind of big and gnarly inside your head and your heart, like writing it has kind of a way of shrinking it a bit
Yeah,
to something manageable and understandable.
Decompression to a point. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool that you've been journaling. How long you been doing that?
I'd say to the extent I have been now, which is like every night, like the past year.
Yeah,
I've been really on it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's also great just because it helps me. Like I have this whole catalog of the last year, you know. And I try to be as detailed as I can, like when I do these entries. So I can, you know, I don't know. And there's something about, one thing I'm aiming for in my life is, because life is really relatively very short, I want it to feel really long.
Yeah.
And I think like
that.
Some of these mindfulness practices, like meditation, journaling, exercise, I think these do something in playing music. These do something in our brains, sort of elongates time somehow, or the perception of time. I don't know how or why exactly, but if I'm in a disciplined habit of like meditation and running, it's like my days feel like richer and fuller, and like time is going by slower.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing I want is for me to be on my deathbed and to feel like my life passed me by.
Right.
Know?
So you're giving each of those moments more time and building a practice of doing so.
Yeah, I mean that's
really
that's
cool.
the aim anyway.
I like it, man. All right, well, thank you for dropping in and talking about the single, the upcoming album. When's the next single dropping?
Date not fully determined. It'll be late September.
I hear roughly about a month.
Yeah, so we rolled Great Big Starter out a little bit later than was originally anticipated. So we had a whole kind of calendar for release and stuff, and it's kind of gotten a little screwy. But
I've never kept a release calendar.
Right. So it'll be towards the end of September. We'll get What If I'm in Love out in the world.
All right, I can't wait. I love that song, man. Very good. All right, well, I appreciate you, Joe.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Have a good one. All right. That was the one and only Joey Crofoot. That's Crofoot. Check out his single, Beautiful Broken Souls, on your favorite streaming platform. Click subscribe to keep an eye out for future videos and interviews featuring top city artists. And thank you for listening. Have a good one.